just like store it in the back of my mind until it needs to be brought up at some point.
And I will file that in a mental file called blackmail. I'm kidding.
I love it. Okay. Back to... Oh, dang, I like lost the card that had the question that I was asking. Because we've gone through 2 rounds, so now we should technically do a group question. Oh yeah, it was when your group has downtime, what do you do?
I thought it was when we were feeling down.
When you're feeling down.
Oh yes,
isn't it?
Yeah.
When
everyone's bummed out, what do we do?
yeah, when everyone's bummed out, what do you do?
My first thought is cuddle puddle.
Oh.
Especially when we were able to turn into animals and could just like flop.
I mean, we do have a track record of group.
Group hugs, yeah.
Group hugs. I was gonna say
We
baking.
definitely have
I don't
those.
know why.
Out in the middle of the woods, just
Out in the middle of the woods, someone turns into an oven.
peak druid.
Like baking and like cuddle pile, like, cause you know, comfort and stuff. I think we also like to do our heart to hearts and stuff like around a campfire. So I imagine like if any heart to hearts like made us feel down, like we just start trying to tell really dumb dad jokes while we bake over the fire. I don't know.
Okay. Have outdoor baking with the campfire.
And cuddle puddles.
Oh, and snuggles. So.
No one gets as mad when you get flour all over the ground when you do it outside.
Yeah.
What was the last of our flour? It's on the ground.
Pick it up.
Here, right? Looking.
It's kind of earthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some cocoa powder right out of the woods. Yeah.
That's why it's brown.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we all good with that answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Pull another card.
Oh man. At this point, I'm gonna run out of cards. Is it just what am I pulling from now?
It's still cups and wands.
Still cups and wands.
Yeah.
10 of cups. Is this for me or?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going back.
This is the second round.
10 of cups, you said?
Mm-hmm. Right side up.
What's it up? You share a deep desire or ambition with blank. What made you trust them? Don't pick Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already know your buddies.
Yeah, a deep desire
Or ambition.
or ambition.
He has a deep
I think-
desire to arm wrestle in every pub.
And win!
I think part of me wants to say Keyanthi. Because like we
Okay.
both have a desire to help people.
For sure.
And you can fill in if I'm like wrong or not, but like I feel like we both can see like the good or the potential in people.
Definitely. I agree in that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, is that your ambition? Are we sharing ambition?
It's desire or ambition. So if you're a
Oh,
desire.
a desire to do good. Okay.
Yeah, desire to be
Make it.
Okay. Next card.
good.
Drum roll, please.
Ace of Wands upside down.
Ooh. Reverse.
Uno reverse. What?
The lack of ambition in blank frustrates you.
Can I pick myself?
Yeah, sure.
All right, Keyanti's lack of ambition in herself. Because she's still remembering the time that, like, she was thrown into Toril and Celiana was like, go and make a contact so you can go take down our grandfather because this criminal empire is no more. And Keyanthi was like, okay. And she didn't know what to freaking do the whole month. The whole time we were there, she's just like, hey. And, you know, that really, like, bogged her down because she did want to do this good thing because she was so worried about your family and all this stuff. But also she didn't know what to do or how to do it, so she felt stuck, and that really upset her. And then later with Sirena dying, it totally just like plummeted her self-esteem. Thus she made a pact with the goddess of death to try to get some direction again. Yeah. So that frustrated her a lot. There you go.
Hey, yeah. Well, next card.
Yeah, well, next card. I got deep, right?
That's great. Okay. 2 of Cups.
2 cups.
2 cups. Only 2.
Raise a glass if you are wrong in all the right ways.
You have
Cheers!
You have a strong connection with blank, and it grows stronger every day. Why?
I'm gonna say it's Chaos Crew, it's Ellie.
Yeah.
We just keep on getting into more trouble. And the more trouble she gets into, oddly enough, the more she learns. Kiara's understanding that a lot of the learning curve is you make mistakes topside and you learn from them. Provided you don't get arrested or die. But if you get arrested, you still learn something. So the dying part is where the learning stops. She's like, I'm under the impression that... She's like, oh, yeah, I feel it's a little worth it.
Yeah, I love that, like, through our, like, shenanigans that you're learning more about topside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very helpful.
Okay. Did we run out of cards, Michael?
I mean, I can shuffle more
Yeah, I
cards,
just shuffle them again.
but I still have, like, a couple.
Okay, yeah. Go for it.
Just need those couple.
Okay. Ace of Cups, right side up.
Oh.
When
2,
you need
1.
advice,
Blast off!
when you need advice, you always go to blank.
Can it be an NPC or are we sticking PCs right now?
I'd rather it be a PC.
Okay.
It could be advice about a certain thing.
Yeah. You can say NPC for like, but I prefer PCs to build bridges.
Yeah.
Or like, who would she even like start to think like, who should I ask advice for on this problem?
Because I'm just saying, like, is there anyone in Travel that she asked for advice from? I mean, I think she asked for advice from Farius at one point, but he's not PC.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I turned off.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Thanks. Alright, I will go with probably Ciara, because she'd probably be the most, come across to her as the most impartial, while not being super anxious about things like getting dirty. No offense, Keyanthi, but sometimes Luna is just like, I don't care about that, and your advice will center around certain things that I don't care about, so.
This is what happens. Her Sally's what?
Also, since Ciara doesn't know much about you, most likely when you ask it in a vague enough way that she assumes that this is a hypothetical, so she responds in a very direct and like impersonal way, and you're like, oh, thank God, this therapist session is anonymous. I love this. And you're like, your friend sounds like they have a lot of problems. They need a lot, just like you, don't they? So it's good that you have someone that you're like that you're have a lot in common with. You're pen pals then, I take it.
Oh
yeah, pen pals. Thanks for the advice.
I love that.
I'll let
so
her know
much.
in my next letter. Right, no problem.
How does she come up with these?
I like it.
It's got an interesting life, that one.
Okay.
Such an active imagination.
The next card.
Very inquiring mind. Good night. Good that she's curious.
Alright, we've got the 8 of Wands upside down.
Blink's work is not up to your standards. Do you check up on them?
Who is this? Is this me?
Yeah, that's a you question.
Okay, so Blank's work doesn't
Meet your standards.
meet my standards.
Keyanthi, you're not pranking enough. You have to follow my lead, okay?
Everyone's
Yeah.
detective skills versus you. They're just
Aha.
abysmal. That's why you take
Get
points
that.
all times. Do better, team.
The other question is, do you check in on them?
Okay. I know Luna is an obvious one, but I kinda have to go with it. Cause like I would think that since we've been on this journey, she thinks Luna is not having as much fun as we usually do.
You're not meeting the fun standard.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have a fun quota?
You have a quota to meet this
We're
quarter, and
We're
you
getting
also
to the end of
seem
the
be
month,
having it.
Luna.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking very specifically before the whole werewolf and all the really bad stuff happening.
Oh, even then, yeah.
So we have a quota to meet,
Not fun quotas,
and
yeah.
I'm wondering if like you're keeping up
It's
on
like, I
having
swear,
fun.
we're
Like everyone's
back
having
at
it, but
the-
you don't.
Yeah. When we're back in the circle, she was way more fun. And yes, I would be checking up on her and be like, is she having fun? I don't think she's having fun.
And she's doing like, gotta be serious because I gotta protect Ellie. Also, I'm sad about other things back home, but I can't.
Yeah,
talk about
exactly,
it
and just
because
like-
angst.
Yeah, exactly. And none of that is registering. It's just like, man, I wonder why she doesn't want to have fun. I don't understand.
And then we had the
Well,
whole
it's dark.
post office sequence, but you know.
I should turn to a peacock.
Really the answer. The next card.
Okay.
I think this will be our last round.
Give me a second. I like just shuffling off all this. Oh, here we go. All right, we've got the 8 of Cups. Right side up.
Drink.
Sorry, break.
You want blank to try something new. What is it, and why haven't they done it yet?
I can only think of something like really, I wouldn't say petty, but like really shallow
I mean,
in the
it
sense. I feel like
could be.
Keyanthi would want someone to be more clean, more tidy. I'm just trying to think of which person is in the most need of it.
I don't know, maybe the person that walks around barefoot.
Yeah, that did cost no 9. Yeah.
Rolls in dirt, sees no problem. It matches my leaves.
It's good
If
for
I-
the skin.
If I'm wearing shoes, I can't feel the dirt between my toes.
Have you guys ever heard of a mud bath? It's
That's-
really good.
So that's all I could think of right now.
Like,
It needs to be a bit cleaner, less dirt, more.
Why do you keep
Overly.
using prestidigitation on me?
yeah, you just keep like cleaning her off.
You
Like,
got some
Ellen
dirt there.
probably
Yeah,
been,
I was saving
sucking
it for
onto at some
later.
point, and she felt something tug at her hair and just like looks over and sees Keyanthi like, oh, I heard that sometimes they polish leaves so that they're nice and glossy. Okay,
I
sounds good.
just love that you had that little accent, like she was on QVC. Polish on there. Call this number
Yeah.
below. We'll get you set up with your new polish.
I don't like it. It's making my leaves feel
For me-
weird.
They're all slippery.
For me, it's like how like you approach some kids that are like a little bit more explosive. It's just like, oh, if you put a nose on your character, it might help them look less like a boogie board.
Yeah, wasn't it?
No, I've never actually told my students that. I sat there, I'm like, oh, yes, no nose. I love it. Are they a crocodile or are they a turtle? Like, because they have little holes and they're just like, oh, they just can't smell. And I'm like, yeah, go.
They just can't
They
smell.
just can't smell.
Can't tell.
I just can't.
I've had one student that like did not like ears so much that it's just like, oh yeah, and he got his ears burned off. Oh wow, it's like it was a baking accident when they were a kid. And I was like, oh, and it's like, oh, but now they're old, so they don't feel pain. But you know, I don't.
It's a
No
baking
ears.
accident. They're listening for the cupcakes.
When they
ready
found
yet?
out how to draw earmuffs, it became worse because they're like, oh, but they live in a cold weather. But now they like headphones. But the earmuffs are part of their secret identity, like Superman's glasses. I believe it.
Yes.
I believe it, man.
Dude,
It's your
absolutely.
world. Build it.
How old are your students?
Everywhere between 10 and 18.
Ah, you're getting the
So,
lovely
I get-
activity.
Yeah, so I get the gambit of all of them, and some of my older students look back, and then like some of my younger students are like, and I'm like, this is great. They're all great. Good time.
That's fun. That's adorable.
Next word.
Cups are wands, right?
Yeah.
Right, we have the Queen of Wands writes it up. If we did that one already, you could just do the opposite.
Yeah. Oh. You have strong feelings for blank and have told them. How did that
We
go?
have told them.
How did that go? Did you confess to Cryos or Durfla?
It was Cryos most likely because that was when the whole like, you're a fun kid, but I think you're a child.
Yeah, basically, yeah. He was
You're
like,
a cool kid,
"You're
but
a
I don't
little
think it's gonna
young."
work. You're a cool kid. I don't think it's gonna work. Her. Oh, I see. Well, thanks for telling me. Yes, no problem. Yes. So it was probably like what, like one of their heart to hearts before, like one of the times before he left. Like they still had conversations after that, so it doesn't feel like she
Super
put herself
awkward.
out there
Yeah.
and thoroughly embarrassed herself, and he ran away.
Yeah. Never seen again. I can never repeat
No, he left. We have to move up this timetable. Your kid's freaking me out.
that. Kid just
No.
confessed her love. Yeah, get out of here, man.
Yeah, get out! Run! Pack your bags! But
You're pumping this back
yeah,
up.
it was probably one of their heart to hearts like a few times before like he left, and so like at some point she gathered the gumption to say something, and she's just like, oh, I find you very fascinating, and you've allowed me to look at the world and things a little different than I've expected, and now I see things differently, and I like that a lot in you, and I think in extension I also like you a lot. And he's just like, so quite words.
Yeah, he kind of like, huh, yes, those are words. That would be a very similar reaction. And pretty much what you said, he's like, thank you, you're a great kid.
Her first.
You're a great kid.
Kid.
He like, you see this moment where he's thinking about something, about like what to say next, and like he almost says, maybe when you're, you know, I mean, I
Doesn't want to demolish my self-confidence.
Yeah,
'cause, you know,
I was
he's
like-
been building my curiosity for the world.
It's
and
not
the
you, it's
extent of
legality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Also,
like,
you know, like you need to see more of the world and stuff like that. So like,
he's like, don't let me hold you back. Go see the world, discover yourself.
he's just like, huh, you're right. I have not learned enough. I understand. Thank you. Goes to her room. I'm so embarrassed.
And he's just like, I hope I didn't crush her. He like
The next
looks-
day comes back with more questions about the outside world, so it just redoubled her interest in going topside.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Polite's weapon.
Alright. Okay, this is 7 of Cups.
I already answered that one.
Okay, let's do it upside down.
Reversed.
Reverse.
Reverse.
Blank makes you think of things in a way you never have before. What have you started to question?
Savannah, how many are you wearing now?
4. I'll answer your question.
Put the new one on. Yeah, 4 of them right now. I was like,
I'm not sure between Keyanthi or Ciara, mainly about Briotrack. Because like she had this idea of like the druidic gods and how that all worked, and like then she had her deal with Melukia.
Yeah.
And now it's just like she's like not only like losing the whole thing with Melukia, but like watching some people who I guess highly revere Briotrack, and it's just like, what's going on? Like,
She would have gotten 2 different responses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same god. She's great.
Yeah.
She's kind of horrible.
So, you know, if you like having direction and you understand your soul is not yours, then it's a great gig. But other than that, it's rather mercenary. And honestly, it's you're not living for you. Well, that's not fair. You live for you, but you understand that all your experiences are something for her to enjoy, and by extension. And for the layman trying to sort of break out into his own, for whatever reason, that could seem rather terrifying, limiting, and confining. But, you know, maybe the layman's just trying to find out more, and it's hard to learn more when you're looking down. But some, of course, feel that that gives them more power and more gusto and more confidence to go forward and look for more. Some don't. It's really just based on who you talk to. And then Keyanthe's response would have been different.
Yeah, for her, I think, she, frankly, Keyanthi didn't know what she was getting into. We were kind of stuck into that path, frankly. But
I regret nothing.
the vibe that she got from Briotrack was someone who, a god who knew more than she did, and she needed that help, and she basically offered that, and it literally changed her life there, because she was, for Keyanthi, she was in a low part, so she's, in a way, she's grateful for Briotrack.
Mhm.
So she didn't know a dang thing about much of anything, so the druidic gods and their beef, it's just like, oh, I didn't know that, but obviously someone who's bad can't be all bad. There has to be some elements that are mixed.
Alright,
I like to think that it's really cool because like their relationship with Briotrack, it was made or broken by their low points in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to point out. I totally planned that.
Yeah.
Definitely
Ciara-
planned that.
That's
He'll take that credit.
Yeah, Ciara left it because she felt she wanted to be brave on her own or find how to do it, and Briotrack helped Keyanthi find bravery. So.
Okay, I'm gonna pick the question. So we can pick one of these. I'm gonna read 2 questions, and we're gonna pick one of them to answer. Each person in the group should decide what keeps them in the group or returning to the group. Or each person in the group should decide what tempts them to leave the group.
Why not both?
I like that question. That question was fun. We did that in the last episode. I think we did.
What says to leave? Or
Yeah. Well, okay. We can answer both. Like, what keeps you here and what tempts you to leave.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Both.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
What tempts you, happy love?
Okay. Oh man, this is gonna be. Am I going first?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
What?
Ladies first, after all.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
So what keeps me in the group is, oh man, this is so, like, I was just thinking about this right now. Ellie has such a weird relationship So what's keeping her in the group is actually her new friends, because she doesn't really have any close friends outside of Luna, but now she has these other friends that she's got to know a lot better. And like, because growing up, she's never really had any really close friends, just like the face spirits that she's been able to communicate with her. And honestly, what is tempting her to leave is her pilgrimage, her to find Ulames. And the more that she's spending time with her friends, the more she realizes that she cares about her friends more than the actual spirits that were her first friends. Which is, it's such a weird dynamic, because she has this pilgrimage that she was destined to go on that kind of nudged her out the door, but now she's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
So it's real weird.
A good place. That means it's good to explore.
Yeah.
I mean, why did the spirits send us out into the ocean?
Yeah, exactly.
Before we ran
Right?
into them?
Yeah.
Okay, Kristin.
All right. So the thing that's keeping Keyanthi in the group, I think, is like kind of agree with that sense of community there, because growing up, she didn't have close friends besides siblings that were like quite literally like thousands of times her age. And the monastery was a great little community thing too, so she definitely likes to crave that sort of community sense. But also, one of the main reasons that she will definitely stay is because she's kind of worried about all three of you.
Aw.
You all tend to just kind of
Wander.
yeah. Keyanthi is like the one holding all the little things, like stay with that.
She's the mom walking around with all the leashes, all the kids.
Yeah, holding her kids. But even then, like, you know, Keyanti's not even very good at that. That's just kind of the impression she has. Because she already knows it doesn't really fit. So it's just like, so she wants to make sure you guys stay safe.
She's
You
the
know?
mom with the soft no, like, no, oh, we're already going. No,
Yeah.
we're already
Yeah,
going.
the pushover mom in that sense, you know?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and so I just like creating, when I have characters, I love the mom friends. They're fun to me. But what would tempt her to leave? If let's see. Well, right now it's just she has like, she wants to go ahead and get all the pieces that are left over. She's gonna go finish off, keep going down her path to fight her grandfather and see if there is some way that someone like her can actually dismantle this generations long criminal ring that she was born into, that, you know, she's gonna try to be more direct about how to go and face those things. If she has to leave them in order to be more direct, she'll do it. She's worried about you guys, but so far dumb luck has saved the day for the most part. So
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I love the empathetic nods between Serena and Michael. Like, yeah. So that's what tempts her to go away, but she stays because, well, you know.
I mean, you're kind of going in the right direction anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
We're waffling in the right direction. Well, there we were waffling.
Oh, I love
Here
to
we
go waffling with you.
Waffling because it's more ambling and clumsy than waffling with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, Serena.
Ellie would definitely waffle.
So what keeps Ciara around is, like, the reason why she wants to stay is because this is a group of people who through no knowledge of knowing who she was and having no reason to trust her, and them being outsiders to her world and her very much not really belonging to theirs, they took her in with very little questions and with very little judgment on their part. And
You almost got eaten by an alligator? Normal. It's
yeah,
okay.
it's like, oh, like thorns, wanted by the cops, thorns and all. That is fine. And so she feels a sense of loyalty. Not only that, as they've gone topside, she has learned so much from them, and she feels she could stand to learn a lot more from them. She admires them and respects that they have done what they could despite all of the trouble, and wants to help in any way she can because she knows her journey would either lead her lost or towards the reasons why she would potentially be tempted to leave. The things that tempt her to leave, one thing she's sure of, the other one she's afraid of. So one thing that it tempts her to leave, the thing that she knows, evil, is the fear that it's too big. It's too big for herself, and she in some part misses belonging to something that is far larger than her own life, and so she's afraid she made the wrong decision every so often, so that kind of scares her, and sometimes she wants to go back. Of course she knows she can't. And another thing that would be she's afraid of is, or rather she might be too naive to really understand, is that she would be drawn away to feel like she would run away only to try and find a sense of that belonging or that purpose or something that has more control, because it's the fear of full autonomy that would make her feel tempted to leave. Because for someone who has belonged to something as an agent of that end, to have suddenly full autonomy and full choice, it's a little daunting every so often. So there are times where she does feel that maybe this is too grand for me to really take in. Maybe it is too vast. Maybe I should go back to my hole in the ground. Mm-hmm. But, she feels more kinship than that, so she sticks around. She likes you guys. Windshield.
Okay.
Sorority of madness, you might say.
Woo! Yeah, for Luna, what keeps her here? I think the primary don't be mad at me. I think the primary reason is probably Ellie, because they had that that long childhood friendship, and then Ellie came to Burgess in the middle of the night to pick her up to take her with her, and so she kind of sees Ellie as her ward, I guess.
Okay,
so yeah, so she's I want to help her. She can't go on this journey alone. I want to make sure she's safe, and so she's she doesn't have much personal investment in the whole thing with the spirits, but she supports you because that's something you care about. And then now we've just kind of picked up these people, and so she's kind of still evaluating everyone, but so far they seem to be helping. So she's okay, I guess this is fine.
They contribute.
Yeah, they contribute. They keep things moving efficiently. It's fine. But yeah, I guess. But what would tempt her to leave, I guess, is that there's just so much unresolved conflict at home because of how suddenly she left, and just other things that she hadn't really been confident enough to deal with before, and now she's just kind of growing as a person. She's just I want this taken care of, and then she's when she's away from home, she can't do the things that need to be resolved at home, and yeah, so she's waffling. But right now she is pretty committed to helping Ellie, just kind of telling herself that it's I will eventually go home anyway. The problems will still be there. I can solve them then.
We'll hit that crossroads when we get there, and we will get there. We will get there. New task. We will get there. We'll get there.
One day.
One day.
Someone has to do this.
Walks faster and further away from the problem. We'll get there.
You say Luna's slow to make friends?
Kind of, yeah. I think she used to be much quicker, but I think she just got really critical over time because of I think
many ex-boyfriends.
Yeah, so many ex-boyfriends.
And a lot of trust broken. It's a lot of broken trust. So I imagine it's a little bit hard to put yourself out there.
There's that. Yeah. There's also it's just her being the daughter of the lord of that area. It's there were a lot of people that kind of wanted to be her friend.
Oh,
sort of thing. Her friend, yeah. And then on top of that, it's just seeing how many of them were treated her best friend cruelly over racial things. And
so
Yeah.
just low trust and people should just like know super
yeah,
well.
and then also then Odo happened, and then that like
Yeah, so her trust in humanity has been shattered,
Yeah.
essentially. Okay.
Makes sense.
I saw a
mean,
Disney
fair.
movie about this recently.
which one is it? There's a few, I think.
Trust is the first step. You share as much guilt in Sisu dying. You
Well,
shot.
spoilers, that thing just came out for everybody.
You shot her.
We have beef. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, spoilers. It's a Disney movie. It's a Disney movie. No one's truly dead except parents.
We don't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability. We don't know anything. We only came here for the cookies.
Cookies?
Yes, there's a jar of them somewhere. We'll find them, and when we find them, we will win D&D. At long last, this long battle will finally be won.
That's
We
how you win
finally won.
D&D? Oh my gosh, I've been playing it wrong.
We never knew this was the end that we were heading towards, but when we find it.
Alright, thanks for watching us.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Tiffany, your DM. Thank you so much for listening to Dungeon Damsels. We really appreciate all your support. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps us out. And if you're interested, we also have a Patreon as well as a podcast version of our show. You can find it on Spotify, TuneIn, Podcast, Podbean, and pretty much anywhere where podcasts are. Thank you again so much, and we hope to hear from you soon.